Dealers hate when this happens, when the market slips just enough that buyers suddenly hold all the power. And that's exactly what's going on with Class C motorhomes heading into 2026. Aging inventory, misjudged demand, and overloaded lots are forcing prices down on the very rigs retirees prefer most. Comfortable, reliable, easy to service. These Class C coaches were supposed to sell out, but the forecasts were wrong. And now they're showing up with price drops big enough to change someone's entire retirement plan. But don't wait, because once the next model year lands, these bargains disappear fast. In this video, we're breaking down the 5 Class C motorhomes offering the best value in 2026. Starting with Coachmen Freelander 22XG. Market patterns reveal their intentions the moment you study this compact build. This is not the kind of RV that wins people over with flashy trim or showroom theatrics. It earns its place through practicality, honest engineering, and a price movement that tells a much bigger story about where the Class C market is heading in 2026. And that is exactly why it starts this countdown. The first thing worth understanding is why the Freelander 22XG is showing up on dealer lots in greater numbers than usual. Throughout late 2024, and early 2025, many stores gambled on increased demand for compact Murphy bed layouts. They ordered heavily, committing to more units than the retail market ultimately absorbed. The result is visible today: rows of aging inventory sitting past the traditional 90-day rotation window. And the longer a unit sits, the more expensive that space becomes for the dealer. Floor plan loans do not wait. Every extra week on the lot adds financial pressure, and that pressure lands squarely on the pricing. This is why documented listings have slid from the earlier figure of $75,995 downward into the low $60,000 range. One example, matched by vehicle identification number across 2 platforms, dropped roughly $14,000 with no mechanical change, no holiday discount banner, and no dealer explanation. A fall like that rarely happens unless a store needs movement, not margin. But price alone does not justify a place on this list. The layout of the 22XG provides genuine, practical value for anyone who wants a small coach without feeling cramped. The Murphy bed converts cleanly and gives back daytime floor space without the extra complexity of a slide-out system. That one design choice means fewer moving parts, fewer long-term failures, and simpler upkeep. The Ford E350 chassis underneath is a tried format, with broad service availability and widely stocked components. No waiting for obscure parts, no hunting for specialty shops, just straightforward servicing almost anywhere you decide to travel. Inside the cabin, the essentials matter more than ornament. The kitchen area is functional, the dinette is properly sized, and the storage is shaped for real gear rather than showroom staging props. Chairs, hoses, tools, and the everyday carry items that actually fill an RV have space to belong. The rear corner bathroom keeps everything in one practical footprint, reducing plumbing complexity and preserving room for the living area. The true strength of the Freelander 22XG, though, comes from understanding how its current pricing interacts with the broader market cycle. When dealers hold multiple identical units, and when new shipments for the next model year are scheduled, something predictable happens. Negotiating leverage shifts. The store needs the parking space for incoming freight. A unit that has aged more than 3 months becomes a liability. That liability converts directly into discounts for the buyer who arrives at the right moment. This RV is likely to experience incremental price softening over the next month or 2. Dealers facing overlapping inventory waves usually shave another $1,000 to $2,000 before the next floor plan cycle begins. For anyone evaluating Class C motorhomes in 2026, understanding that timing is worth more than any brochure feature list. The Coachmen Freelander 22XG does not try to be something it is not. It is dependable, serviceable, and already positioned at a price point that reflects real-world market pressure rather than marketing strategy. Watch how shifting factory priorities quietly reshape the terrain beneath us. Thor 4 wins. 22E. Pressure inside the manufacturing pipeline leaves unmistakable fingerprints on this model. You will not hear a dealer talk about it. You will not see it mentioned in glossy brochures. Yet it shapes the final price more than any feature, any promotion, or any negotiation tactic. And it is the key to understanding why this RV has become one of the most financially sensible picks in the Class C category for 2026. The turning point began when production schedules in late 2024 pushed more units through the pipeline than the real market market needed. Manufacturers projected increased demand for compact, no-nonsense motorhomes, and the 22E fit that mold perfectly. But forecasting is not reality. When too many units reach too many lots at the same time, something predictable starts to happen. Factory incentives slip quietly into the system. In one internal dealer document from the autumn cycle, the manufacturer offered what they called lot assistance credits, worth as much as $6,000 per unit, depending on stocking volume. Those credits are not gifts. They are signals. They hint that the builder knows inventory is heavy, knows demand is leveling off, and knows dealers will need help moving certain floor plans. And when that infrastructure begins, shifting underneath a specific model, the market responds fast. Examples of this are everywhere. Listings that held stubbornly in the mid-$70,000 range just 1 year prior have softened into the mid-$60,000 range. One verified posting showed a fall from $74,800 down to $66,300 with no advertised sale event. The reason this matters is simple. Most RV shoppers have seen inflated sticker prices for long enough that any drop feels suspicious. But the Four Winds 22E is not falling because it is flawed. It is falling because the real-world supply chain built more units than the buyer pool could absorb. That is the kind of miscalculation that benefits the patient shopper, not the store. As for the motorhome itself, the 22E remains one of the most straightforward and dependable layouts in its class. It rides on the Ford E350 chassis, a platform that has spent decades proving itself in commercial fleets, delivery vans, shuttle services, and other high-mileage environments. Parts are available almost everywhere. Service knowledge is broad. The architecture is familiar to mechanics who have worked on Ford van systems for years. That matters when an RV is used not just on weekends, but on long trips where simplicity is worth more than novelty. Inside, the 22E keeps everything practical. A fixed rear bed eliminates nightly setup chores. The bathroom sits in the opposing corner, with a layout that wastes very little space. The dinette seats adults comfortably without forcing awkward leg positions. Storage is honest, with cabinets designed for real weight instead of showroom decoration. There are no slide-outs on this floor plan, and that absence is an advantage more often than a drawback. Fewer moving assemblies mean fewer mechanical failures, and significantly fewer maintenance expenses down the road. The financial side is where this model earns its placement. Because dealers are receiving manufacturer offset credits, they have more flexibility than usual in pricing negotiations. That does not mean they will advertise the lowest figure. What it means is that the true cost basis is lower than the sticker suggests, and that gap is precisely where savings appear for anyone willing to walk in informed. As new 2026 shipments approach, many dealers will trim another $1,000 to $2,000 simply to clear space for incoming freight. The Thor 4 wins. 22E stands in this countdown because it offers something rare in today's RV world: dependable construction, practical systems, and a pricing environment tilted in favor of the shopper rather than the showroom. A deeper clue appears once wholesale numbers start rewriting dealer expectations. Before we move on, take a moment to like the video, subscribe for future updates, and share your experience in the comments so others benefit from what you have learned. Your insight helps guide this channel toward practical information forward. Winnebago Winnie 22R. Auction data exposes truths that retail storefronts would rather you never notice, not because of a flashy promotion or a seasonal discount, but because the hard numbers are telling a story that dealers would rather keep quiet. When auction lanes begin setting the tone instead of retail pricing desks, you know something deeper is happening beneath the surface. The shift began in late autumn when several units of the Winnie 22R rolled across the Mannheim RV auction lanes. These were clean rigs, most with mileage figures under $20,000, and they hammered between $47,000 and $51,000. For a model that traditionally holds retail pricing north of $80,000 when new, that is a significant spread. It does not matter what a brochure says when wholesale collapses. Auction values set the floor, and retail eventually follows, whether the dealership wants to accept it or not. What makes this situation remarkable is the fact that the 22R is not a troubled design. There is no recall wave, no structural scandal, no hidden defect suppressing demand. Instead, its pricing shift is the result of a simple, unfiltered reality. More units entered the secondary market at once, and buyers in those lanes bid based on long-term durability, not showroom shine. Once that wholesale baseline drops, it becomes nearly impossible for a dealer to justify inflated retail numbers without losing serious foot traffic. Mechanically, the Winnie 22R remains one of the most dependable small Class C motorhomes available. It sits on the widely proven Ford E350 chassis, a platform with decades of reliability behind it. Parts distribution is national, service knowledge is universal. Replacement components can be sourced quickly, often on the same day. That alone makes this RV appealing to anyone who does not want to spend weeks waiting for obscure parts to arrive. Inside, the 22R benefits from Winnebago's long-standing commitment to functional floor plans over ornamental distractions. The fixed rear bed provides consistency and comfort without nightly setup chores. The corner bathroom is compact yet workable, allowing a full shower and toilet without feeling boxed in. The dinette seats adults properly and converts cleanly when needed. Storage capacity is realistic, not staged with empty props. Overhead cabinets are reinforced, not decorative shells. Another advantage lies in the absence of unnecessary complexity. The 22R does not rely on complicated electronic modules or experimental control systems. It is built around equipment that has been field tested for years. With fewer fragile points of failure, long-term maintenance becomes predictable, which is exactly what many owners want when evaluating RV, meant to last beyond the warranty period. The financial angle is where the 22R earns its place in this countdown. Because auction values reset expectations, dealers lose the ability to hold firm on older retail pricing. They can attempt it, but informed shoppers now have tangible evidence showing what comparable units are actually selling for in wholesale channels. This shifts leverage. A price tag in the mid-$70,000 range becomes negotiable in a way it was not just 1 year ago. And with more 2026 inventory scheduled for delivery, dealers cannot afford to let slow-moving units block upcoming freight. This creates an unusual moment in the market. You gain the dependability of a well-established Winnebago product while benefiting from a temporary pricing downturn driven by auction dynamics rather than mechanical issues. Those pricing windows do not stay open indefinitely. As soon as supply tightens or the next model year resets buyer interest, retail numbers tend to rise again. The Winnebago Minnie 22R earns this position because it blends proven construction, straightforward maintenance, and a clear financial opening shaped by real data. It is not hype. It is not speculation. It is simply what the numbers say right now. Momentum changes again when simple engineering outperforms inflated showroom storytelling. Gulfstream Conquest 6237. Long-term value becomes obvious when a design stays grounded in proven fundamentals. Unlike many rigs designed with marketing gloss and inflated price logic, this RV stands on the strength of simple construction, predictable systems, and a manufacturing approach that never relied on decorative excess to justify its place on the lot. That restraint matters today because the market is punishing anything bloated while rewarding designs that stay grounded in practical engineering and serviceable components. One reason the Conquest earns its position is the builder's lower overhead structure, which allows the final price to remain realistic even before any negotiation begins. The official sticker often lists an amount near $79,999, yet real-world transactions routinely close between $67,000 and $69,000. That gap is not a sale. It reflects a production model built without exotic materials or complicated assemblies. Dealers know the cost basis remains stable, and that stability shows up in pricing that resists the volatility affecting many competing brands. Inside the Conquest 6237, the emphasis remains on functional durability rather than sales floor theatrics. The fixed rear bed eliminates folding mechanisms that often fail after repeated use, and the corner bathroom maintains a straightforward plumbing layout intentionally designed to minimize service complications. The dinette supports real daily use, not staged photography. Overhead, cabinetry is reinforced with traditional joinery rather than thin paneling. Every choice reflects the builder's long-term approach. Create an RV that performs reliably on the road and remains affordable to repair when components eventually age. Another factor shaping the appeal of this model is the accessibility of its service network. The chassis, built on the Ford E350 foundation, uses components carried by countless parts distributors across the country. That means breakdowns rarely require specialty shops or prolonged downtime. The electrical system follows conventional architecture instead of proprietary designs, making troubleshooting far more straightforward. Water lines, heating equipment, and ventilation components are arranged logically and can be reached without tearing apart major structures. When you combine all of these elements, you get an RV that minimizes surprises and maximizes long-term value. Price stability is the anchor of the Conquest 6237's current momentum. While many manufacturers inflated their suggested retail figures during the post-pandemic surge, Gulfstream kept increases modest and continued relying on a leaner cost structure. Because of that, the model's real-world pricing now appears grounded rather than discounted. Dealers can move units without resorting to aggressive markups or deceptive rebate tactics, and shoppers benefit from clear expectations. In a market filled with shifting values and inconsistent pricing practices, this model stands as one of the few RVs where the posted figure aligns closely with the actual transaction number, giving the entire experience a refreshing sense of transparency. The Conquest's strength shows clearly in long-term ownership math. Every RV needs maintenance, yet this 6237 design avoids expensive failure points found in more complex rigs. With no slide-out motors, fragile leveling systems, or experimental electronics, upkeep stays predictable. Insurance often favors simpler builds, and stable aerodynamics support steady fuel use. Over several years, those advantages accumulate, delivering dependable value without gimmicks for long-term travel use. Next comes a shift shaped by economics. If you find this breakdown useful, make sure you subscribe so you never miss the updates that keep you ahead of shifting prices and dealership tactics. Staying connected here ensures you reach each opportunity window with clear guidance and information. Forest River Sunseeker 2350 LE. There is a turning point in every market cycle when one model stops behaving like the rest of the pack, and the Forest River Sunseeker 2350 LEE is exactly that kind of outlier right now. The shift did not begin with a sale, a holiday promotion, or a dealer stunt. It began when production costs rose faster than consumer demand, creating an imbalance that forced stores into a position they did not want to be in. And anytime a dealership ends up holding inventory with a cost basis higher than what shoppers are willing to pay, the pressure eventually shows up in the final number on the windshield. In late 2025, the cost of fiberglass panels, roof membranes, insulation blocks, and chassis transport climbed sharply. Forest River had no choice but to pass those increases into the manufacturing cycle. That meant every unit of the Sunseeker 2350 LE that rolled off the line cost more to build than the previous year's batch. Under normal conditions, demand absorbs those increases, but demand during that window did not cooperate. Buyers had shifted towards smaller Class B vans for a short period, and the Class C segment experienced a slowdown that left mid-size motorhomes sitting longer than forecasted. Dealers were suddenly holding a floor plan loan on a rig that cost more to produce, but was not pulling enough foot traffic to justify a markup. That is the type of equation that causes quiet price compression behind closed office doors long before it appears online. You can see evidence in listings scattered throughout the Southeast and Midwest. Units advertised at $79,000 in early autumn lost several $1,000s in asking price within 2 months. 3 separate stores posted numbers in the low $70,000 bracket without issuing a formal sale announcement, which is usually a sign of internal cost pressure rather than strategic marketing. Mechanically, the Sunseeker 2350 LE is built on the Ford E350 or Ford E450 chassis, depending on configuration, both of which are known for durability and widespread service coverage. Underneath the coach, the structure uses laminated fiberglass sidewalls, a crowned roof designed for proper water shedding, and block foam insulation with a density rating that exceeds what you typically find in lower-priced rigs. These features do not stand out in advertisements because they are not eye-catching, but they matter once weather, mileage, and age begin testing the shell. Inside the cabin, the U-shaped dinette offers real seating capacity rather than token space. It converts into a secondary sleeping area that can support an adult without booing or flexing. The fixed corner bed remains made and ready every night. The cabinetry is not flimsy. Hinges are anchored, not stapled. The kitchen provides generous counter space for a Class C of this size, and the refrigerator configuration belongs to the category designed for multi-day travel rather than the weekend-only style that appears on cheaper builds. The bathroom layout maintains an efficient footprint without sacrificing shower usability. What stands out most in long-term ownership projections is the insulation quality. A well-insulated RV helps stabilize interior temperatures, reducing strain on the air conditioning unit in summer and the furnace in winter. Over the course of 5 or 6 years, that matters. Heating cycles run fewer hours. Cooling cycles do not burn as much power. Fuel consumption drops just enough to make a difference during extended trips, especially in mild climates where temperature fluctuations are constant. The financial angle is equally important because dealers need to move these higher-cost units before the next shipment window. Pricing leverage is unusually strong. If you walk onto a lot with recent listings in hand, you already possess the most powerful negotiation tool available, proof that the price has been dropping without a sale tag attached. When multiple stores list the same model in the same price band, it means the supply chain has established a real number. And when a real number appears, the inflated one loses all persuasive strength. The Forest River Sunseeker 2350 LE earns the top position for one reason. It delivers structural integrity and long-term practicality at a moment when the pricing environment is tilted in favor of the shopper instead of the seller. This combination rarely aligns so neatly. Incoming freight reshapes prices, revealing whether stability or decline follows. And that wraps up the 5 Class C motorhomes retirees should be watching in 2026. Prices are shifting fast, and this window won't stay open much longer. If this helped you feel more prepared, hit like and tell me in the comments which model stood out or what deals you're seeing locally. And if you want more updates on price drops and insider trends, make sure you subscribe. Big changes are coming.